Hello guys. Hey Jedi Master Annie. Okay, as always, I gotta figure out how to mount this camera. Obviously, this looks different than I usually do it because I just decided to do a different kind of live stream tonight where I show the Bible instead of my face, which is great because I don't feel the need to look good right now. I look like a rat, but that is okay. So, it looks like nobody's in the chat. I did see Jedi Master Annie. If you're still there, welcome. And I'll just, okay, also alright, so for this Bible study live stream, I have my Bible right here, but I feel like it's a little bit blurry. That's why I have a backup. If you don't want to use like the physical Bible, I've got this. It's a lot easier to read. So you guys can just kind of give me some feedback on which like way you prefer. I mean, I like the physical Bible. I prefer reading the physical Bible more than on a screen. But it's a lot harder to see. Like I can't even see this. So just let me know, like whoever's in the chat, like let me know, would you rather I use the iPad for you to look at the screen, or would you rather just leave the physical Bible up there? Just give me your opinion. I'm gonna share this on Instagram, by the way, so that people know I'm live. So if I go quiet, that's why. Anyway, what have you guys been up to this lovely weekend? You know what? I'm gonna play some Spotify music in the background while I do this, because I need to share on Instagram, like share the link on Instagram so people can join the live stream. So in the meantime, I'll play some Spotify. If anyone has any recommendations for a song to play while I'm like sharing the link, let me know. How about if I move it closer? Can you see it now, Jedi Master Annie? Nah, that's hard to see. Yeah, we're just gonna use the iPad. I love my physical Bible, but it's hard to see. And there we are. How's that? This stupid mount. Oh, I like that. That looks good. How's that, guys? Lovely. Thank you, Jedi Master Annie. Alright, I'm gonna play some Spotify while I work on this. Give me a song. Either Jedi Master Annie or Kevin the Minion. What song would you like to hear while we wait? Bible study live. I'm doing well. Who was it that asked that? Hey Kevin, I'm doing well. This is I'm just kind of trying to adjust this new kind of live stream because I've never done this before. Yeah, but we'll test it out and see how it works. Okay. Alright, if no one gives me a suggestion of a song, then I'm just going to start playing Imagine Dragons. This one's been in my head all day long. I sure hope YouTube doesn't flag this because I'm playing a song. Oh well. Okay, I'm seriously I'm seriously like afraid that YouTube's gonna flag this video now that I just said. Now that I think of it, if I play a song, they're gonna flag this video. I'm almost done sharing the link. Hold on, guys. All right. Okay. Jedi Master Annie said I'm super boring, so I don't even listen to any cool songs. You know, I mean, I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. Like, what kind of songs do you listen to, Jedi Master Annie? I guarantee they're not boring. All right, guys, I think I'm ready now. We got 3 people in the chat. All right. Anyways, guys, welcome. I was gonna say welcome so much, that didn't make any sense. Welcome to this live stream. It's obviously different than I usually do it, but we're gonna do it anyway. If you saw my community tab, you may have seen that I shared a verse a few days ago. I think it's from, I feel like it's from 1 Peter. I think it might be 1 Peter 5:8. And this live stream is not really related to that. Like, it kind of is, but this is more of just like reading 2 Timothy 3, because like this chapter has been on my mind a lot the past couple weeks, and I think it's really interesting. So if you guys are not familiar with 2 Timothy, it's a book in the Bible in the New Testament that is written by the Apostle Paul. And if you don't know his backstory, Paul used to persecute Christians of the early church, like right after Jesus' resurrection. And his name was originally Saul, and he was a very religious person. He was a very studious religious leader, but he persecuted Christians because he thought they were heretical. And I've heard that he executed some Christians. I'm not sure if that is verifiable, but he did persecute them until he himself became a Christian, and he started going by Paul instead of Saul. So that's what we're reading tonight, and this chapter is from the book of 2 Timothy, like I said, and 2 Timothy is a letter to his kind of like his protege, I guess you could say, his like this young man that's in the early church that he's friends with and he mentors. So this book is a letter to Timothy, who's like a young guy in the church that he's friends with. Jedi Master Annie, I cannot talk, said, I listen to Star Wars and Lord of the Rings soundtracks, and other than that, I listen to songs on my dad's oldies playlist. Hey, that is valid. I listen to my dad's oldies music too, like 70s rock, but I'll try to stay on topic. Hey, Emily, welcome to this very interesting live stream. Like I was just telling them, you probably know this because I know you're a Christian, but 2 Timothy is a letter from Paul to Timothy, who is this young guy in the church that he mentors, and I just wanted to read 2 Timothy 3. We could just read the entire book of 2 Timothy if y'all wanted to, because like it's literally so short. I think it's like 4 chapters long. Maybe we could read the whole thing, but for right now I'll just start with 2 Timothy 3. All right. Thank you guys for joining me, by the way. I know it's a really weird time of night to be doing this, but whatever. Okay, here we go. We're starting in 2 Timothy 3, and it's called Godlessness in the Last Days. So this is Paul writing. All right. He says, but understand this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power. Those are the first 3 verses. Like, I'm not going to finish reading it yet because that was already a ton to unpack. And I really love this chapter too because it sounds so much like 2023. I'm not saying that we're in the end times because the Bible says no one knows the day or the hour that the world is going to end. But this is just showing like what people are going to be like in the end times, and I feel like people are like this now in 2023. Even some of us, like if any of these adjectives sound like you, like that's not surprising because all of us are guilty of these characteristics. So, all right, let's take a look at what those 3 verses said. In the last days there will come times of difficulty, For people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive. Like, okay, lovers of self, like even that first phrase that's in verse 1, like think about how you see that in the culture nowadays, like loving yourself. Like this, that's literally all in Hollywood culture. It's all over the TV we watch, the music we consume. And I shared this on my Instagram story about a week ago. I was sharing a bunch of different artists that I've noticed are like blatantly satanic that I listened to growing up or listened to even the past couple of years, and I didn't realize they were that terrible. And I have a lot of examples, but well, here, I'll just go ahead and go through some of them. Here's some examples of loving yourself, like in a bad way. Let me pull up the ones I shared. Okay, I'm trying to find it on my Instagram story. It's in the archive. I totally ranted. It was 2 o'clock in the morning a few days ago, and I really wanted to share this. So I shared like 15 slides about this topic, about just Satanism in Hollywood culture. And it's just so prevalent nowadays that people don't even see it. So anyway, a few examples of just blatant Satanism in our culture, or just blatantly loving yourself in a bad way. I don't know if you guys have heard of the song Demons by Doja Cat, but that, like, I don't think I've seen a music video that was that demonic, like, ever. It is really terrible. And part of me feels bad for Doja Cat because it seems like, just looking at her social media, that maybe she's struggling with some kind of mental health issues. But a lot of this is just glorifying evil. It's not mental health stuff. A lot of it is just straight up satanic. And I would tell you go look at the music video, but at the same time I really don't want you to, because it's just terrible. So trust me, that song's awful, but it's all about, like, it's just self-absorption. Same thing with, I don't even want to say this word, so it's Demi Lovato's, one of her new albums is just, the cover of it is mocking Christianity. It's all about, like, just self-love in a bad way. And like, if you look at this first chapter, or no, this first verse in 2 Timothy, talking about lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient. Like, a lot of these artists nowadays exemplify this. Another example is Judas by Lady Gaga. It's straight up a love letter to Judas. It's just, I don't know. It sucks because, like, I enjoy some of Lady Gaga's music. I know maybe like 3 of her songs. So that's not like a representative sample, but to see that she, like, straight up has a love letter to Judas in one of her songs is just disturbing. Another example is Mary on a Cross by Ghost. And I don't know if you remember, a couple months ago, I think it was during the summertime, this song, Mary on a Cross, just became so popular in the backgrounds of, like, TikToks or Reels on YouTube. Shorts on YouTube. And it's literally straight up, like, I'll show you a picture. These are the guys that wrote the song. Like, that's just, I did not know that. Because, like, when I first heard the song, I thought it was singing Mariana, like the name Mariana. I had no idea it said Mary on a Cross, but that's just another example of, like, how our culture is just disgusting. This one was, like, one that a band that I really cared about called Smith and Thell. A couple of years ago, I just loved them. I loved their folk music until I heard their song Hotel Walls, which is got a lot of satanic imagery. But those are just a few examples of, like, how our culture has become so much about loving yourself in a bad way and making yourself the center of the universe. and making money the center of your universe as if that's going to make you happy when really it's not. So all that's to say, that was a rant. Just giving you examples of where we see this in our culture nowadays. Okay, let's pick back up in verse 4. It's once again describing people in the last days. They will be treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power. Avoid such people, for among them are those who creep into households and capture weak women, burdened with sins and led astray by various passions, always learning and never able to arrive at a knowledge of the truth. Wow, look at this verse right here, like verse 7. This really hopped out at me when I was reading this chapter. Just think about how it kind of reminds me of like some of the classes I've had in college where the professor just straight up like mocks Christians and mocks the idea of God. And it's one thing to have like a different opinion than somebody. Like if you're atheist and you have like a different opinion, that's one thing, but to straight up like mock people who have a different opinion than you and belittle them, I don't know. Like it's just a step too far. But so we see that in our culture nowadays too. Just always learning and never able to arrive at a knowledge of the truth. And it makes me feel bad for some of these professors I've had that they're really smart people and they know so much about the subjects they teach, whether it's like science or music or whatever. And they have so much knowledge and they're constantly learning, but they're never able to arrive at a knowledge of the truth. And if you've read much in the Bible, you know that the truth is Jesus Christ. And a lot of people, they spend their entire lives learning, the entire lives just pursuing their passions and learning more about God's creation, but never actually realizing or accepting that Jesus is the one to thank for all of that. Anyway, that verse stuck out to me. Okay, let's see, verse 8. Let's see. Just as Jannes and Jambres, I don't know how to pronounce those names. Just as they opposed Moses, so these men also oppose the truth, men corrupted in mind and disqualified regarding the faith. But they will not get very far, for their folly will be plain to all, as was that of those two men. So another thing that jumps out about me, look at verse 6 when it says, avoid such people, for among them are those who creep into households and capture weak women, burdened with sins and led astray by various passions. Like, think about how a lot of times really, like, how do I say this? Really corrupt people who hurt others, who hurt those who are vulnerable, whether those are children or women or old people or literally anyone, or a man, like whatever. People who take advantage of the most vulnerable, a lot of times they're the ones that grew up in broken homes and they're completely lost in life. They take advantage of other people and destroy marriages, destroy families, and they don't have God, or they know God, but they completely reject him, completely reject his authority and just want to live based on their own passions. Like, there are a lot of nasty people out there who take advantage of others and just completely reject God, and they do that their entire lives. That's just what that verse reminds me of. Anyway, let me check the live chat for a second. Hey, Commander Louie, you said, which Bible app are you using, Shen? I'm using YouVersion. I just downloaded it on this iPad. I have it on my phone. It sends me a verse of the day at like 11:57 p.m. every day. And I always joke that Jesus is texting me at 11:57 because it sends a notification. Yeah, so I use YouVersion. Let's see. I got Emily in the chat. I got immediate past president of the Being Alive Club. DJ, hello DJ. Kevin said, do you think you can be a Christian but not go to church? I'm a Christian, but I haven't been to a church in a while. The church I was going to before had some very bad people. One of them cheated on his wife. Yes, Kevin, you can still be a church. You can still be a church. You can still be a Christian and not go to church. It's not like if you're a Christian and you haven't found a church yet, it's not like you're just going to go to hell because you don't have a church you go to. But it's important to make the distinction that a church is not the building, it's the people in the building. Like, that's a biblical perspective on the church. So a church can meet in a home, it can meet in a church building, it could mean the church as a whole, like throughout the world. Like, there's different definitions, but I'd recommend looking up, like, if you visited churches in the area, or have you just not gone in a long time? Because I'd recommend checking out different churches and not, instead of giving up entirely. Because, like, I've church hopped some, and yeah, churches are full of hypocrites because we're all hypocrites. We're all sinners, and that's why we need church, so that we can fellowship with other believers and help each other stay accountable. But yeah, literally, we're all hypocrites, so, you know, you're never going to find a church with perfect people. But I totally get where you're coming from. Let's see. Bye, Louie. Yeah, no problem, Kevin. Yeah, I always tell people, if you've been watching any of my live streams, you're probably tired of me giving this example, but, like, don't let one bad church experience ruin it for you and make you turn away from Christianity. And this analogy I've heard really helps. Like, if someone plays Beethoven badly, you don't blame Beethoven, you blame the person that plays him badly. So if someone is giving the wrong impression of Jesus and being a quote-unquote bad Christian, and treating you unkindly, don't let it turn you away from Christianity in general, because, like, they're not representing Jesus the way they should. So just don't let it completely put a bad taste in your mouth, because they're not representing Jesus correctly. Anyway, let's get back to this. We're going to go to 2 Timothy 3. We're in 2 Timothy 3, I'm sorry. My mind is just, like, everywhere at once. Let me recap what we just read first, though. So we read through verses 1 through 9. So to recap, I wrote some notes last month. So to recap, people in the end times will be lovers of self and lovers of money. They will also be proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, which is an interesting way to put it, lovers of pleasure but not God, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power. They'll creep into households and capture weak women, and they're always learning and never able to arrive at a knowledge of the truth. So, looking back, let me see which one stuck out to me, okay. Proud and arrogant, we already got that covered with the examples I gave, but also just, I think all of us need to work on our pride and arrogance, because I think all of us struggle with that to some degree. Abusive, think about, maybe you've had someone in your life who has abused you, whether it's emotionally, physically, mentally, sexually. This is talking about those kind of people too. People in the last days are going to be abusive, and just take advantage of the vulnerable. Let's see. Heartless. Okay, one of them said, one of the adjectives is heartless. The example that comes to mind for this is, think about, like, how social media has desensitized us so much to pain. Okay, so think about, like, for instance, one time someone I knew was watching a video of this cat that fell off a building. and died, and he was laughing at it, and I was like, bro, like that's terrible. Like that's just an example of how we just become desensitized to what we watch to the point where we just like become heartless to an extent. We just kind of disassociate and think that it's not reality when it actually is. Like if you see like footage of someone getting attacked, or for instance the looting that went on in 2020, when we had like a ton of the riots in 2020, and the riots, like the January 6th riots, we see footage of people like straight up getting beaten up and their stores being robbed, and so much pain and suffering, and we just like, it doesn't even bother us anymore. We're like, whatever. We kind of think of it like it's a video game or a TV show, but like it's real people being affected, and we just don't like, we don't care anymore. It's really sad. Like, and that's just what happens when you spend too. I'm trying to fix this camera. What is with this? It's being stupid. It's so blurry. Aha. Just think about like how we scroll so much, and we go past all these videos of like, at least in my instance, I've followed a bunch of like dog accounts, like rescue accounts with these animals who are abused like terribly, or they're neglected. And a lot of times we get so used to seeing that stuff pop up in our feed that we kind of forget that like, oh my gosh, it's reality. Like there's literally someone out there who abused this dog or cat, or who abused their children, yet we just kind of like pretend like it didn't actually happen. We just keep scrolling, and then we laugh at the meme that's right under it, you know? So that's just the example that comes to mind with me when it comes to Heartless. I think we just become so desensitized to other people's pain that when it happens in real life, like we don't know how to react. Like, I can't get off this topic, I'm sorry, but okay, we watch someone get beaten up in a riot or looting or whatever on YouTube. And then when it happens in real life, instead of trying to help or de-escalate the situation, we pull out our phones and record it and then put it on YouTube. You see how like it makes you like not know how to react in real life to other people's pain, because we're used to watching it so much on our phones and don't care anymore. So I think that's like people in the end times, I feel like it's going to be astronomically worse than that, to the point where they just don't care at all about other people's pain. Whereas I think nowadays most people still care to some degree about other people's pain. Okay, I'm gonna get off that topic because I just ranted a lot. Okay, rest of the adjectives: unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless. Okay, slanderous. Let's talk about slanderous for a second. How many of you guys know somebody who every time you're around them, they just start talking about other people, and then it makes you start to talk about other people because, once again, like being desensitized, I'm guilty of this. Like sometimes, like when I get together with someone and hang out with somebody, I'm really tempted to start gossiping or talking poorly about someone else. Like we'll just start talking about like, oh, back in our school days, like remember that person who was, oh yeah, they were so stupid, they were so mean, they were so, like, we just start talking about other people and like slandering them almost, and we don't really think about it in a malicious way. We think about it in like a joking way. But I've caught myself doing that like a few months ago. What was weird is like I'd been kind of gossiping about people this one day, and I wasn't even thinking about it as being like malicious. It was just like a joking kind of way. But then like a few days later, I heard this podcast. It's called the Living Waters Podcast, and literally the topic that was on gossip and how as a Christian we need to just kill gossip and not partake in it. And I felt really convicted and felt really terrible, but that's how it's going to be in the last days too. People are all going to be slanderous against one another. Yeah, that's just the example that comes to mind. Hey, Hazel Mo. I love you, Hazel Mo. You're the best. You're amazing. Hey, Foster and Cat, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so slander is something it's not like I'll intentionally be like, oh, that person's so terrible. But, you know, when you start talking with your friends, you start like joking around about like people you knew like 7 years ago, but it's still wrong. Like, it goes to show Christians aren't perfect. There's still stuff I'm working on. The next adjective is without self-control. So think about like maybe you guys also struggle with this. A lot of people struggle with addictions, whether it is drugs or food or sexual addictions or let's see, what am I leaving out? Literally anything that you try to fill up that void in your heart, like whatever brings you instant gratification. So that could be eating too much, and that's where you find your happiness and end up on My 600-Pound Life. Or let's see, or like addicted to your phone, which, I mean, me and everybody else my age has been there or is there. Literally just so many of us struggle with self-control. Like all of us do, but in the end times it's going to be once again astronomically worse. I'm not saying this is the end times right now. I have no idea. Yeah, people are just going to lack any kind of self-control. Guys, also Hazel Mo in the chat, she made me this lovely Rex and Ahsoka like print thing for my birthday, because my birthday is Tuesday, and she literally like, and she made this little streamer thing like Ahsoka's facial markings. So she and Sky Solstice threw like this party for me for my 21st birthday, and it was so thoughtful. Like all the stuff was handmade, and like the food was made from scratch. The cake was made from scratch. Like it covered all my fandoms. Like Hazel Mo was the best like party thrower and planner. It's just that made my day. I wanted to cry, but I held it in. Okay. Anyway, Fostering Cat said Rex Soka Supremacy. Fostering Cat, remind me before the end of the live, and I'll talk about Rex Soka a little bit more, because I'm in a project that I want to tell y'all about, but I will wait. Okay. Brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit. About swollen with conceit, that's an interesting way to put that. Let me see if my Bible has like notes at the bottom for that verse. See how like it has all these footnotes? Half of it's just footnotes. Let's see. Swollen with conceit. That's verse 4. What? It doesn't say anything on that. That's just an interesting phrase to describe conceit. Like you're just swollen with it. You're so full of conceit, so full of yourself, and just selfishness that you're just swollen with it. That's just an interesting way to put it. It's like if you get a sponge and then fill it up with water, like it's swollen, but with conceit. Like I don't know how to describe it except for that. Excuse all my weird analogies. It's 10 o'clock at night, so I am semi out of it. All right. Let's see what else we got. Having the appearance of godliness but denying its power. It's kind of like having the appearance of a good person and the appearance that you've got your life all together, but it's really just a bunch of hypocrisy and denying God. Lovers of pleasure and not God. That's once again going back to all throughout our movie industry, music industry. Okay, Hazel Mo, you're gonna like this example. Like, okay, so when I had that sleepover with Hazel Mo and Sky Solstice 2 nights ago, we watched Tall Girl 2. It's like a really stupid movie on Netflix. And we did not watch it out of actual interest because we like to watch like rom-coms and make fun of them, and just destroy it the entire time. So we watched Tall Girl 1 about a month ago and just destroyed the heck out of it. But anyway, that's aside from the point. In the movie, the main character, I don't like her, but she is portrayed as like a good person and like she's just so amazing and whatever. And she's just so oppressed because she's 6'1", as if that's the end of the world. This is coming from someone who's tall. And she cheats with some guy who already has a girlfriend. And even though his girlfriend's a jerk, the fact she cheated with him and like there was no repercussions from it. And she's still portrayed as the good guy. She does not learn from her mistakes. She doesn't regret cheating with him because it's wrong. Like these characters get away with like doing stuff that's just straight up wrong, and they'd be seen as a bad person in real life, but because they're on the screen and because Hollywood's making it, like they portray her as a good person for cheating. It's just stupid. So that's like an example of lovers of pleasure and not lovers of God. You just want to satisfy your instant gratification, but you don't actually care about right and wrong. Like that's just, if you want a movie to watch and just like make fun of the entire time for like an hour and a half, I would very much recommend Tall Girl and Tall Girl 2. It was fun. Okay, that was not the strongest example ever, but it was funny. All right, let's read the second part of the chapter that I just skipped. I haven't read this part yet. This app is pretty cool because you get to like highlight verses, and you can put like a verse on the backdrop of some picture, and post it like on Instagram or whatever, or just keep it in your camera roll. It's really cool. All right, so the second part of this chapter is called All Scripture is Breathed Out by God. This is verse 10 of 2 Timothy 3, if you're just joining. You, however, have followed my teaching, my conduct, my aim in life, my faith, my patience, my love, my steadfastness, my persecutions and sufferings that happened to me at Antioch, at Iconium, and at Lystra, which persecutions I endured, yet from them all the Lord rescued me. Indeed, all who desire to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted, while evil people and impostors will go on from bad to worse, deceiving and being deceived. But as for you, continue in what you have learned and have firmly believed, knowing from whom you learned it, and how from childhood you have been acquainted with the sacred writings, which are able to make you wise for salvation through faith in Christ Jesus. All Scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, equipped for every good work. And it's not saying just the man of God, it's the women of God, the children of God, not just men. I wonder if that's what that says. What's this little bubble do? No, what's this like text bubble? Okay, that is a messenger of God. The phrase echoes a common Old Testament expression. It's clarifying this, not talking just about men. So let's look at that again. I had a note that I wrote down. Where'd it be? Yeah, okay. Verse 12. Okay, let's start out with verse 10. This sounds like Paul is just bragging about himself. Like he's like, oh, I'm just so great. And look at me and my life and my patience and love and steadfastness. He's not bragging about himself. Like, if you have read anything about Paul, like he actually was persecuted very, very heavily. And there's a passage in the Bible that talks about like Paul naming all the stuff he's gone through. What passage was that? Paul talking about his suffering. I'm Googling it. Okay, I think, yeah, okay, here it is. We'll read this in a second. 2 Corinthians 11, 16 through 33. Okay, so let's just look at 2 Corinthians 11 because it gives some background into Paul and who he is and why he's saying that he has such steadfastness and love and patience and faith and all that. So let's take a look at that passage. 2 Corinthians 11. 2 Corinthians 11. Where is verse 16? Okay, so this is why Paul, it sounds like he's boasting, but he's really not. So let's just take a look at this passage real quick. There you go. It's a tiny bit blurry, but you can see it. Paul's suffering as an apostle. I repeat, let no one think me foolish, but even if you do, accept me as a fool, so that I too may boast a little. What I'm saying with this boastful confidence, I say not as the Lord would, but as a fool. Since many boast according to the flesh, I too will boast. For you gladly bear with fools, being wise yourselves. For you bear it if someone makes slaves of you, or devours you, or takes advantage of you, or puts on airs, or strikes you in the face. To my shame, I must say, we were too weak for that. But whatever anyone else dares to boast of, I am speaking as a fool, I also dare to boast of that. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they offspring of Abraham? So am I. Are they servants of Christ? I am a better one. I am talking like a madman, with far greater labors, far more imprisonments, with countless beatings and often near death. So this is where he starts talking about all the stuff he's gone through. Just like all the terrible persecution he's been through, yet he still is faithful to God. So, verse 24. 5 times I received at the hands of the Jews the 40 lashes less one, which is what they did to Jesus when they beat him before he was executed. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. 3 times I was shipwrecked. A night and a day I was adrift at sea, on frequent journeys, in danger from rivers, danger from robbers, danger from my own people, danger from Gentiles, which is people who aren't Jews. It's a term for non-Jews. Danger in the city, danger in the wilderness, danger at sea, danger from false brothers, in toil and hardship, through many a sleepless night, in hunger and thirst, often without food, in cold and exposure. And apart from other things, there is the daily pressure on me of my anxiety for all the churches. Who is weak and I am not weak? Who is made to fall and I am not indignant? If I must boast, I will boast of the things that show my weakness. The God and Father of the Lord Jesus, he who is blessed forever, knows that I am not lying. At Damascus, the governor under King Aretas was guarding the city of Damascus in order to seize me, but I was let down a basket through a window in the wall and escaped his hands. So the part that I was highlighting was all of this, where he says, like, he literally was imprisoned, he was beaten, 5 times received the 40 lashes or 39 lashes, beaten with rods, stoned, shipwrecked, starving, thirsting. Like, literally he went through so much persecution from all directions, even from people from his own homeland, and he was still faithful to God. And he said that if I must boast, I will boast of the things that show my weakness. It's kind of like there's a place in the Bible that talks about, for when I am weak, then I am strong, because it's in our weakest moments that we see how much we need God, and we often turn to God the most. Like, think about like a really hard time you went through, and if you're a Christian, you may look back on that and think like, I grew so much during that hard time and turned to God more during that hard time than I ever have before, because I realized that I'm weak and I literally can't do it on my own. I've had that happen many times, whether it was losing a loved one or like, I can't really go into that, but situations where maybe you're in danger or being persecuted, or just people, I don't know how to describe it, but like there's so many instances that maybe you can think of in your own life, where you went through a really hard time, or maybe you're going through it now. And often it's in those hard times when we realize how much we need God. It's like, I hate to bring this back to NF, but he has a song called "Oh Lord," and one of the lines says, Oh my gosh, what does it say? Oh Lord, lyrics, NF. Okay. This is what the line says in Oh Lord by NF. Everybody wants change. Don't nobody want to change though. Don't nobody want to pray till they've got something to pray for. Everybody's gonna die, but don't everybody live though. Sometimes I look up to the sky and wonder, do you see us down here, oh Lord? So it's talking about how like a lot of times we don't want to pray until we're in a tough situation. It shouldn't be like that, but it's oftentimes in those situations where we realize, like, dang, I can't do this on my own. Anyway. Yeah, David, I don't know if I just said your name right. David said, well, I mean, man was a very general term back then. Yeah, it's like when you say humankind, like, it encompasses men and women, you know? Yes, fostering cat, of course, I quoted NF. I don't know if I've ever had a live stream where I didn't bring it back to NF in some capacity. David said, a personal and intimate relationship with God is the greatest thing you can have. Yes, I agree, David. Okay, so what passage was I at before this? Oh my gosh. This was about 2 Timothy 3, and I just made it about some other passage. Like I said, like this is a very impromptu Bible study. And I'm just like rambling like I would if you were sitting beside me. So I hope you don't mind. Okay, verse 12. Indeed, all who desire to live the godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted. Now, if you're a Christian, that doesn't mean you should seek out persecution. Like, there were times when persecution started to bog down on Jesus and he got out of the situation. Because, like, you don't need to needlessly put yourself in a place where you're persecuted. Like, don't just straight up go out and just, like, I guess an analogy, don't walk out, like, when it's 2 a.m. and walk down a dark alleyway and just, like, wave around a $100 bill. Like, you don't have to go looking for persecution or to get yourself beaten up. But if you're living a godly life or trying your best to live a godly life, it's going to show to other people. And some people are not going to like that. They're going to make fun of you for that. Or talk badly about you. That's promised in the Bible, you know, like Christianity is not a prosperity gospel. When you become a Christian, it does not mean you're going to become rich or something. Like, that's not the point of it. Like, the Bible literally promises that you're going to go through hard times if you're a Christian, and you're going to be persecuted to some extent. Hello, Pookums. Would you like to speak to the people and say hello? Say hello. Okay, what do you want? Sorry, guys, hold on. Good night. I love you sometimes. Am I taking you to school? I think I'm going with her to take you to school. Okay. Farewell. Okay. Pugum just made a cameo appearance, even though you didn't see her. She was off camera. All right. My note said, if you desire to live a godly life that is pleasing to Christ, you will be persecuted in some way. So we covered that. Let's think of an example of this. Okay, the Living Waters podcast, which I just mentioned a little while ago, and I highly recommend. One of the guys on the panel of that podcast, his name is Ray Comfort, and he's one of my favorite evangelists ever. He rides around his bike in Huntington Beach, California, pretty much every day with his little dog wearing sunglasses in the basket. So he rides around Huntington Beach and just has conversations with people and posts them on YouTube under the Living Water channel. You can check that out, like, under my recommended channels in my About section. But he has talked to probably thousands of people over the years, and a lot of times he has people who do not like him, even though he's a really nice guy. They just do not like what he stands for. They don't want to hear the gospel. They don't want to listen to him at all. And he's persecuted and made fun of a ton. because of his beliefs and because of what he stands for. So that's just an example of like a modern day example of how people, not everyone's going to like you, and you can't make people like you, even though he's an awesome guy. All right. Let's look at verse 14. But as for you, continue in what you have learned and have firmly believed, knowing from whom you learned it, and how from childhood you have been acquainted with the sacred writings, which are able to make you wise for salvation through faith in Christ Jesus. Continue in what you have learned. All scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, so the man of God may be complete, equipped for every good work. So, did I have a note on that? Nope, I did not. Yeah, so like, I guess a lot of people nowadays think that the Bible is really outdated, and they think like, why would I want to read that? It was written like thousands of years ago. It does not apply to 2023. But when you read it, like this chapter was written, 2,000 years ago, and it literally sounds like it was written today because it describes 2023 to a T. Like, it's crazy how it just completely, perfectly describes what our culture's like. Even though I'm not arguing these are the last days or anything, but all scripture is breathed out by God, and by that it means inspired by God, and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, equipped for every good work. So the more you read the scriptures, the more you just delve into it, it should increase your love for God and help you with discipline, because you're not going to be perfect. Like, none of us is perfect. But it's going to equip you so that when people ask you about your faith, you know how to answer them. You know where to point them in the Bible. You know what resources to provide for them. And if you struggle with like reading the Bible consistently, or you don't know where to start or something, or you have a lot of questions that like maybe your church growing up never answered these questions, or something you've been struggling with, resources that I really recommend, I would say, let's see, if you are a Christian or even not a Christian and you have a lot of questions about the Christian faith and like how it makes sense from a logical standpoint, like if you have scientific questions about the Bible, or if you have just topics that you just wonder, what does the Bible say about this, like, or how can I logically share the gospel with other people from like a scientific standpoint, then I'd really recommend you look up the channel Cross-Examined on YouTube, or look up the podcast I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist with Frank Turek. I love him as a resource to just listen to. Like, it's not boring whatsoever. It's not like sitting in a sermon either. It's just, he's straight up telling you how to share the gospel in a way that makes logical sense to other people. And it's called apologetics, like arguing for the Christian faith and from like a logical standpoint. So I really love his work. He goes on like to other college campuses and holds Q&A sessions and just answers people's questions about the Bible and like questions they've had for a long time. So definitely look up Frank Turek. He's in my recommended channels. Or if you are involved in the New Age, in New Age practices, whether that's crystals or horoscopes or anything related to that, and maybe you're struggling with that, I would recommend looking up Melissa Doherty. She's also an apologist, a Christian apologist, who used to be really involved with the New Age. And she also visits a lot of different religious worship services, whether it's like Muslim or Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormons. And she shares her experiences with Christians and tells them like what she learned and how you should approach the gospel with these people of different religions. So I recommend her. Let's see who else. Sorry, just coughed right into the microphone. the Living Waters podcast, like I said, or the Living Waters YouTube channel. I love Ray Comfort. And he gives like a very straightforward approach to sharing the gospel. If you struggle with that, like you don't know how to approach the topic with people and how to share the gospel effectively, he's really good, like a really good resource. Yeah, okay. What else? Those should all be in my recommended channels. I don't know if Melissa is, but you can check on the other two in my recommended channels. Let's see. Emily said, did Shen just say I love you sometimes? Yeah, that's me and Pugums have this thing where like, if she's like leaving somewhere or I'm dropping her off at school or something, I say I love you sometimes, and she says I love you sometimes. It's just funny. Davin, I don't know if am I saying your name right? So that like I just want to make sure I'm saying it right. David said, yeah, trouble usually just follows as you live the life that God wants you to live. Just like Jesus, he just spread the good news, not even doing it very publicly, often in very small groups and or privately. Foster Cat, oh my gosh, I just memorized that one. Which one did you memorize? I didn't catch that. Like is it verse 16 and 17? Is that what you memorized, Foster Cat? All right. Okay, so that was 2 Timothy 3. If you guys have a recommendation for another one to read, that's fine by me. Is there another passage in particular y'all wanted to read? I'm open to anything. I really wanted to read the Screwtape Letters on a live stream because I've read the Screwtape Letters once and I started rereading it again a while back. And if you don't know what the Screwtape Letters is, the Screwtape Letters is whatever. It's a book by C.S. Lewis, and it's supposed to be like a collection of letters written from a demon to his nephew, who's also a demon. And it's about like how you should trick humans and make them sin, or tempt them to sin. So that's a really interesting book. Like, of course, it's fictional, but at the same time, it's very accurate to, like very biblically accurate. You know, like of course the characters don't actually exist, but the concept and like the way he describes the human condition is really interesting. And I also wanted to read Mere Christianity on a live stream. That's another book by C.S. Lewis that I started at work a few weeks ago. Mind you, it was during a lunch break, not while I was working. So I want to read that at some point. Yeah. Any thoughts, people? Yay, okay, David, cool. I'm glad I'm pronouncing your name right. I know there's something I wanted to do or say. Oh my goodness, Jedi Master Annie, you need to read the Screwtape Letters. It's probably my favorite work by C.S. Lewis that I've read. It's really good. I know that I want to say something. Okay, I guess we can go off topic now that we're kind of done reading, unless you guys have a passage you want me to read. DJ said, I think you explained the passage really well. Thank you, DJ. I felt like it was very all over the place, but maybe y'all think all over the place too. Speaking of C.S. Lewis, I'm using the Chronicles of Narnia to hold up the iPad camera. Like the mount is laying on top of the entire collection of the Chronicles of Narnia. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Foster and Cat. You're so nice. This was very unplanned, and I felt like it was all over the place. But oh well. I want to do a live stream with they just added the feature on YouTube where you can live stream with another YouTuber. So I really want to do a live stream with Master Chanigan Skywalker, do a Bible study with him on here, or Sergeant Malia, or True Sons of Mandalore. He's awesome too. I love picking on him, but he knows it's out of I don't even know where I was going with that sentence. He knows I mean it jokingly when I pick on him. So yeah. So if y'all have any kind of topic you want to like have in a future live stream, like maybe you want me and Chan to do a certain topic, or me and Malia, or me and True Sons of Mandalore, like feel free to email me or just drop it in the comments, and I'll see if I can get around to the topic. The other thing, Fostering Cat, are you still here? Yes, you are. Narnia, everyone's fangirling about Narnia. David, if after you read the Screwtape Letters, I would really recommend you watch the movie Nefarious. I don't know if you're into any of you guys who are into horror movies. This is considered a horror movie, but it's not like there's monsters like or people getting their heads bitten off. It's not like that. It's a movie about this guy who's demon possessed and he's on death row, and 70% of the movie is just him having a conversation with a psychiatrist, and it's so intriguing, and it's pretty much like a sequel to the Screwtape Letters. It's so interesting, and I just bought it on DVD and got it from Amazon a few days ago, so you all should check that out too. DJ said that was terrifying but really cool. What was terrifying? The wasp, or the book, or the movie? Okay, so I talked about that. There's something else. Okay, Fostering Cat, if you're still in the chat, you mentioned something about Rex Soka, I believe. So I'm part of a Rex Soka zine. And if you don't know what a zine is, it's short for magazine. So it's a collection of fan art and fan fiction based on like a ship or like a friendship or whatever. So I'm in this zine and it's on pre-order now. And I'm going to put a community post up probably tomorrow with information on how to order the zine if any of y'all are interested. But okay, it's not all romantic fan fiction and fan art. It's also platonic. So if you're not into Rex Soka as a ship, the zine has plenty of like friendship content too, so it's not all romantic. So if you're one of those people who's like, that's so gross, I hate that ship, then you can just like order it and read the platonic stuff if you want, because I'm sure all of it will be good. So anyway, I wrote a fic for that, and I have had a ton going on with like college and work and social life that I wasn't able to finish the piece until like literally yesterday. I had probably 12 drafts going. I kept copying it over into my Google Docs and redoing parts of it and just like scrapping parts of it. And I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. Like I low-key hate it because I've been working on it for so long and I'm just ready for it to be done. But I sent it to a friend for like proofreading purposes, and she was like, wow, that was really good. And I trust her judgment. That was Sergeant Malia, so it must not be too bad. It's like 2,500 words or something like that. But yeah, if you guys want to read that, it'll be in that zine, and I'll have information put up about that probably tomorrow in the community tab, if that's something you'd like to order. Hazel knows that I have beef with the zine, but it looks cool. Yeah, David, Nefarious. Okay, David said, I've been quite skeptical with Nefarious, to be honest, because it's horror, but my family doesn't like horror much, but maybe I'll try it to check it out. Okay, so with Nefarious, I'm not big on horror either. Literally the only horror movies I've seen are, besides Nefarious, literally just what is it called? The Silent Place or something? A Quiet Place. I saw that, and I saw Nefarious, and those are like the only two horror movies I've ever seen because I'm not big on horror. But it's literally, the demonic possession in Nefarious is so biblically accurate. Like, I only had gripes with a couple minor details about it, about the movie. It's literally so intriguing to watch though. Like if you decide to watch it and like gore or like stuff like that bothers you like it does me, then just skip like the last just skip the electric chair scene near the end and you'll be fine. I closed my eyes both times I went to see the movie. I closed my eyes at that part and didn't see it. And I'm thankful because I know it's gruesome. Besides that, the movie is fantastic. I love it. Hey Chan, we were just talking about you. How'd you know it's an iPad stream? Oh, I thought you were talking about what I'm using to record, because like I've been using this to like recording with an iPad, and I've got an iPad with the Bible on it. So yeah. Yeah, DJ, you kept your eyes open for the electric chair part. I feel bad for you. I went to see the movie twice in theaters and I kept my eyes closed for both times. I am tired, Chan. My voice gets so dry after doing these live streams. I'm running out of water, but I don't feel like going downstairs yet, so I'll just wait. I forgot what I was gonna say. We were talking about the zine. Yeah, so if you're interested in that zine, just check the community tab. I'll have information on it like tomorrow probably, maybe tonight, maybe. And I'll put a video on it too. Like I'll do a video on it soon also. I've got videos that I've had in the works for a while and just haven't finished them yet. Like I've got this Anakin / Vader and Ahsoka edit I've been working on for months. It's literally, I think I started in April. And one, of course, I used an NF song. But ask Chan, like he's just as big of an NF fan as I am, I believe. So I used Gone by NF and Julia Michaels, and I'm so close to the end of the edit. I literally have like 20 seconds left. I'll probably work on it tonight. But I think I should post it within the next week or so, because with that last Ahsoka episode that came out, Anakin and Ahsoka are like a hot topic, I'm sure, on the internet. So those are probably good keywords for me to put in the title. So I need to finish that. Bye, Emily. Good night. Sleep well. David said A Quiet Place was pretty much considered a thriller. My mom loves it because of the thrill and pretty much because Emily Blunt, lol. A Quiet Place has more jump scares in it than Nefarious. Nefarious, like I said, most of it is them sitting there in a prison talking for 80% of the movie, and it's so intriguing. Like it sounds boring, but it's literally so interesting and accurate. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, Hazelbo said, the trailer itself gave me nightmares for days, but y'all have fun though. Yeah, that's not your kind of movie, Hazelbo. I know it's not. Yeah, Chan, I was talking about you. I was saying that I would love to do a like live stream with you, just like a Bible study live stream or something, or it doesn't have to be, but with you or with True Sons of Mandalore or Malia, or all four of us would be interesting. That would be interesting. That would be so chaotic. If we had like, that's my text tone, sorry. If I had like all of y'all on a live stream at once, that would be so fun. Yeah. I'm texting my mom back. Chan says, we'll have to talk about doing that later because I'm interested. I shall text you and bug you later. Alright guys, if there's not another passage you want to, look at that, NF's in my Instagram feed. See? Yeah, he's at the top of my feed. Yeah, if there's anything else you want to talk about or any other passage you want to read real quick, then let me know, because otherwise I'll end the stream in just a minute. Do y'all want a sneak peek of the edit? The Anakin and Ahsoka edit I've been working on? Okay. Chan said, sure, with a question mark. I feel like you've already seen it. Didn't I already show you this, Chan? Like, which part should I show? Ooh, it's glitchy. Stupid CapCut. I'm getting an upgrade for my phone this week, hopefully, because I've had it for 6 years, so maybe once I get an upgrade, CapCut won't be so stupid and glitchy. Right now, blah, blah, blah. Chan said you showed me part of it. It was just random to suggest right now, haha. Yeah, I know it was random, but this has been a random live stream considering we just finished you came in right after we finished the Bible study. All right, let me see if I can get stupid light. Ah, that light's bad too. Let me turn off the light. Ooh, it's so dark. I don't know where my chair is now. All right, let me see if I can show you a clip of my edit. Okay, I really hope this isn't going to be glitchy because then I'll be embarrassed. Alright guys, here's a quick preview of my edit. Ready? Forgive me if it glitches.
Hope you're out there somewhere happy. Sometimes I think of you.
I miss her, okay? Is that what you wanted me to say?
And it makes me sad.
It was wrong. She's a Jedi. She belongs with us.
The way you left.
She's one of us.
But I'm glad you did. It was for the best. I'm already gone.
And now you don't get to see the rest until I post it. Thank you, Fostering Cat. Yeah, it is super dark. David, it's what, 10 something here? It's almost 11 o'clock. So it's very dark. Yeah, so there's the preview of my edit that I've been working on since April. It's not that it took me that long, it's just that I've been putting it down and forgetting about it and then getting preoccupied with other stuff. Yeah. Thank you, DJ. Thank you, Annie. Oh, thank you, Chan. It was for the best. I'm so glad that line worked. Okay, so this song is actually like shippy, but it's not supposed to be. Like, I don't ship Anakin and Ahsoka, but if you listen to the entire song, it's about like post-breakup trauma and stuff, but like just the parts that I use sound so accurate to Ahsoka and Anakin. Let me look at the lyrics and show you. Gone NF lyrics. It's so beautiful. You should listen to it. Chan said the audio glitch and it sounded like you swore. Sorry. All right. Do. Blah, blah, blah. All right, here's some of the lyrics from Gone. Wonder where you're at now. Did you ever find the one? Hope you're out there somewhere happy. Sometimes I think of you. And it makes me sad the way you left, but I'm glad you did. It was for the best. I pray someday you find yourself somehow, some way with someone else. Don't wait, it's too late to keep holding on. I'm already gone. It's so pretty. Like, it's like some of it sounds shippy. And no, I'm not swearing, Jan. Like, it's so pretty, but I like edited the audio so it takes out all the shippy parts, so that it sounds like Ahsoka and Anakin. Oh my gosh, I love this song. Anyway. Foster and Cat says, we know you love NF. Really? Yeah. Foster and Cat says, how are you doing, Shen? I'm doing pretty well. I started school again a couple weeks ago. And my classes are honestly easy. I'm so glad. My professors are really nice, and some of them are pretty funny. I watched a documentary today called The Social Dilemma about how, like, I watched it from media and society class, about how, like, we're just being destroyed by social media. It was a little depressing. Malia! Hey, Malia. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for dropping in. We just went through 2 Timothy 3 and part of, was it 2 Corinthians 11? I think it was. And like I said, if any of y'all have another topic you want me to cover in a future video, let me know. And I told them I would love if me, you referring to Chan, and Malia did like a collaborative live stream, like just us talking about a Bible passage or talking about Star Wars. That would be cool. Yeah. So, anyway. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining this live stream. I'm so sorry, Molly, I'm about to end the live stream. I probably need to work on my edit or go read the Bible or something. Yeah, I'm tired. I need to go to bed soon. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for coming to this live stream. Like I said, if you have a topic you want to talk about in the next live stream, maybe just email me, shenaniganskywalker@gmail.com, or just drop it in the comment section somewhere and I'll see it. And I know I'm bad at replying to comments, but if you have like a suggestion for a Bible live stream, I'll reply to you and give it a heart. Alright, farewell everyone. Yeah, I won't forget Frank Foster Cat. He's unforgettable. And also, he has the same birthday as me, Tuesday, except he's turning 23 and I'm turning 21. So you guys wish him happy birthday if you have his Discord or something, and spam him and bother him. He likes to annoy me, so you can go annoy him in return. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this live stream. And if you have any questions or comments or concerns or terrifying fears, feel free to email me or drop a comment. And I hope to see you next time. Bye guys.